Hello everyone, DarkCon here. Sorry for the new setup. Apparently Windows 10 does not want to work with Google Hangouts for me, and so therefore I am doing it on my phone instead for the first time. Let's see how this is working. So far it is working alright. Well, that's good. Now this is gonna probably be a shorter episode of Strike Force, as I did not get the whole time to prepare, like collect a whole bunch of articles to read. I have 5 here, which is still quite a few, but anyways. And plus, I said Monday that I was going to do an episode of Strike Force. Okay, I was going to do Sorry about that. Technical difficulties. I'm playing this episode right now on my computer so I can view the chat, but sorry about that. Anyways, so I said Monday that I was going to be doing this episode of Strike Force yesterday, but on midnight of yesterday, I actually got invited to dinner for the evening, and so I was unable to do it, and so I decided to push this off till today. So here we are. And also, I'm not donning the pea coat right now because it is getting freaking hot here in Kansas right now as the weather is just getting warmer and warmer. So that's how we're doing this right now. And I have the articles, or at least article, pulled up here on Mozilla Firefox on my other screen. Sup, Zach? Okay, JJ Skinner in the chat says, sup, Zach. Ryan Howe says, hi. What's up, y'all? How y'all doing? So anyway, in the news today, Florida prosecutors seek death penalty in school shooting. We shall give our ignorant opinion on whether we think that he's actually going to get it, maybe. Who knows? Alex's awesome Mig is in the chat saying, "Ay. And a Honduran guy who is living in Miami pleads guilty to attempting to support ISIS by bombing shopping mall. U.S. sanctions on Russia for election interference and threats to U.S. infrastructure." Now, I do not know what interference they're talking about, but we will get to that article here in a bit. Do not know for sure if they mean like interference in the in the presidential election to help Trump win, you know, that whole conspiracy theory, or some other type of interference. But anyway, Obama DOJ forced FBI to delete 500,000 fugitives from background check database. And lastly, later on in the stream, Mueller blasts Trump organization with subpoenas, is reviewing business dealings with Russia. Okay, and so first off, the title article of this Strike Force, that being Florida prosecutors seeking death penalty in school shooting. Miami, this by Associated Press. The former student charged with killing 17 people at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School last month will face the death penalty, prosecutors said Tuesday. Nicholas Cruz, 19, is scheduled for formal arraignment Wednesday on a 34-count indictment, including 17 first-degree murder charges. Cruz's attorneys have said he would plead guilty if the death penalty was not pursued in the Valentine's Day massacre. The office of Broward County State Attorney Michael Satz filed the formal notice of its intentions Tuesday. The action by prosecutors Tuesday does not necessarily mean a plea deal will not be reached. The only other penalty option for Cruz is life in prison with no possibility of parole. Alex is awesome. Mig in the chat says, I support the death penalty. Well, so do I, but I shall give my opinion on this whole ordeal like after this article. Man, actually it's quite a short one. Broward County Public Defender Howard Finkelstein, that's a funny name, whose office is representing Cruz. Why would you want to represent a psychopath? Like, what the fuck? Has said there were so many warning signs that Cruz was mentally unstable and potentially violent. So what? And that the death penalty might be going too far. Oh, like, okay, what kind of mental instability are you talking about? Are you talking about like he was literally being mind controlled? Was he demon possessed or something? Because if he had like a slight bit of autism or something or other, something very minor, well, he still by his own free will went out and killed all those high schoolers. So I don't care what minor mental disease he might have. He might have had. I still think that by his own intentions, by his own actions and intentions, that he deserves the death penalty. Finkelstein said Cruz would likely plead guilty if prosecutors opt not to seek the death penalty. Do we need him to plead guilty? I mean, the evidence, seems overwhelming right now that he is a mass murderer right now. Because that's what this case is about. Not did he do it, not should he go free, should he live or should he die? Well, it kind of seems like a waste of taxpayer money for us to be feeding, housing, and clothing a psychopath, a serial killer, well, not a serial killer necessarily, but a mass murderer, mass shooter in prison. Finkelstein told the Associated Press last month, Finkelstein's office didn't immediately respond to a request for comment. Meanwhile, a student who's credited with saving the lives of 20 students by attempting to close and lock a classroom door during the attack was improving at a hospital. Anthony Borges, however you pronounce that, Borges, 15, was shot 5 times. Damn. Weeks after being shot, he fell critically ill of an intestinal infection. After surgeries, his condition was upgraded to fair. His attorney and the hospital said his intestinal area has been sealed off and he is breathing on his own after being taken off a ventilator. Family attorney Alex Ariza said Borges' family has filed notice that they will sue Florida authorities to seek money to cover the cost of his recovery. Sue Florida authorities. I would say definitely sue freaking the sheriff, but anyone and everyone else who did not act on the shooting. But anyone aside from that, I think it would be kind of unnecessary to sue. So catching up here in the chat here, JJ Skinner says, kill him. Alex is awesome. Mig says, Finkelstein, with spelling it weirdly, like Finklestine. JJ Skinner says, he deserves the death penalty. Evidence, mocking my mispronunciation of the word evidence. Loudmouth Reviews is in the chat. Hi, what's up, Loudmouth? The shooter deserves it, but I still am no fan of the death penalty. Okay, here's my opinion on the death penalty. I am not, in practice, it is quite flawed because the way that our court system works, it seems kind of flimsy, like we would not know for absolute certain of who is the killer or rapist or whatever else have you. It definitely needs to be perfected so that we can know for absolute certain, beyond a shadow of a doubt, of who was the actual murderer of said murder or whatever else have you. Or whatever other kind of crime people would think the person deserves the death penalty. But in this case right here, we know beyond the shadow of a doubt that Nick Cruz is the killer. So there's no question about it. He is the perpetrator. And so there is no doubt in my mind that Nick Cruz does deserve the death penalty, in my opinion. I mean, just because that I think that the death penalty needs perfecting doesn't mean that I completely give up on it. It is just my opinion. Ryan Howe's in the chat saying, remember reading somewhere that the way the current system is set up, the costs for the death penalty is more than keeping him in prison. Going to try to find it. Alex is awesome. Mig says, bring back the electric chair. I think that would be going too far because there are a lot quicker ways to kill him than how many volts it takes to kill a person. Say a lead bullet in the head or something. I'm not for absolute certain, but I could really imagine what would be a whole lot cheaper than the electric chair. JJ Skinner says it does need to be improved. Yeah. That's what we all can agree on. Ryan Howe says headshot. The cost for the death penalty is more than keeping him in prison. Yeah, and that again is where I say that where I say that the death penalty needs perfecting. Okay, did not mean to do that to my word pad here. I'm trying to pull up the next article here, folks. So hang on for a sec. JJ Skinner says firing squad. Alex is awesome. Meg says rope is pretty cheap. Just saying. Yeah. I mean, I could imagine how the death penalty, the processes of it, would be expensive in the way that we have an investigation to find out for absolute certain if the said perpetrator is the actual committer of the crime. The juries, the court trials, all that would be quite pricey, obviously. But again, that's not really the case with Nick Cruz, because we do know for beyond a shadow of a doubt that he is guilty. I mean, there's not much court case needed there. There's not much investigation needed there. I mean, in my opinion, it just seems as simple as just setting them up for, like JJ Skinner said, firing squad. So, off of that topic and on to the next. This from cnsnews.com. By the way, the links for the articles down below, I'm going to be, after this is done, after I'm done with this stream, I'm going to copy and paste all the links for these articles in the description. I couldn't do that right now because I'm doing this on my phone. It would take a while to type every single letter and symbol to give the links. Ryan Howe says, also, capital punishment cases tend to have a lot of appeals. Yeah, that's expanding on my point of how I think I can easily imagine it being expensive, the death penalty. I mean, Alex is awesome. Mig says, all good points. Thank you, Alex. Anyway, CNSnews.com. Honduran living in Miami pleads guilty to attempting to support ISIS by bombing shopping mall. This March 15th, 2018, a Honduran national living in Miami, Vicente Adolfo Solano, has pleaded guilty to attempting to provide material support to the Islamic State of Iraq and Al-Sham. Al-Sham? How many names does one organization need? You have Islamic State of Iraq and Syria, Islamic State of Iraq and Lebanon, and now Islamic State of Iraq and Al-Sham? Or Al-Sham? Whatever. Oh, jeez. I mean, as Syria split up into multiple splinters, now there is one section called Al-Sham that ISIS controls or something. I don't know. Honestly, I haven't read up a whole lot of news on ISIS as of recently. I mean, anyway, after the Federal Bureau of Investigation surveyed him as he tried to carry out what he thought was a plot to bomb a Florida shopping mall. According to the stipulated factual basis filed with the court in early 2017, Solano told an individual who later became a confidential human source, CHS, for the government that he was upset with the United States and wanted to conduct an attack in Miami. The Department of Justice said in a statement released today. Later, Solano told this CHS that he wanted to join ISIS, said DOJ. The Department of Justice. Solano planned to place and detonate an explosive device in a crowded area of a popular Miami mall, DOJ said. Solano discussed his plot with the CHS and two undercover FBI employees. See, that's kind of what I don't understand about ISIS, is that they like to brag about their crimes and their plots and whatnot. I mean, don't you want to, stay as secretive as possible? I don't know. Ryan Howe says, a kingdom divide is a kingdom fallen. Probably commenting on my serious splintering off comment. In an affidavit, I think that's what it's called. In an affidavit submitted to the U.S. District Court for the Southern District of Florida, FBI Special Agent David Clancy described Solano's actions leading to his arrest and guilty plea. In late September 2017, FBI agents began an investigation of Solano, Clancy said in the affidavit. The investigation was initiated based on information provided by a confidential human source, CHS, who had been working with the Drug Enforcement Administration. The CHS indicated that Solano had become increasingly upset with the policies of the United States government and its activities throughout the world, said Clancy. Solano cited these grievances as... What the heck? Oh, God. It's almost time to restart your device. Reschedule. Computer's being a spaz here. It's insisting that I restart for some update. I just recently upgraded my computer to Windows 10, by the way. It is the reason, again, why I have, why I'm doing my live stream on my phone right now, set on my secondary monitor, rather than on my computer with my webcam on my primary monitor. Anyway. Ignoring that interruption, the CHS indicated that Solano had become increasingly upset with the policies of the United States government and its activities throughout the world, said Clancy. Solano cited these grievances as motivation for his desire to conduct a terrorist attack in the United States. Solano explained to the CHS that his intended target would be a specified mall in Miami, the specified mall, and that he planned to strike on Black Friday, believed to refer to the Friday after Thanksgiving. Alex's Awesome Mig says, to be honest, ISIS is not organized at all. They are just terrorists under a name. Yeah, and they really are falling apart. This is probably the main reason of why that I haven't been paying much attention to the news regarding ISIS, because it seems like during the late years of Obama's second term, it seems that they really died off. I mean, I don't know how a person could officially call that successful, how officially successful a person could call that, but still. Ryan Howe also says, the main goals of terrorists is to send a message, so it's logical they would be vocal, but usually after an attack has happened. Okay, I see. Yeah, never mind what I said earlier then. Later, Solano sent this source videos expressing his views and intentions. On September 13th, 2017, Clancy said in his affidavit, the CHS reviewed a series of text messages that contained 3 videos from telephone number 786-560-XXXX. They didn't want to review the whole number, but why start citing the number in the first place if you don't want people to know the number? It's odd to me. The telephone number, so on and so forth, was known to the CHS as the telephone number used by Solano. The 3 videos sent by Solano featured a man wearing a black mask and shirt standing in front of a black flag identical to the one used by ISIS, said the affidavit. The CHS identified the voice of the individual in the video as that of Solano. Alex also says, last I heard from ISIS was the Moab. Are you talking about the Moab that Trump had used to strut in front of North Korea, to strut military power in front of North Korea? Is that the one you're referring to, Alex? Solano spoke in Spanish on the videos, but the FBI affidavit published English translations of what he said. I am here because I like the way ISIS I am here because I like the way ISIS confronts the United States and the countries of the coalition, Solano said, according to the FBI affidavit. They're strong. He's saying there like if he's not an official member of ISIS. So, if anything, he's more of an ISIS ally than an actual ISIS member. But still pretty freaking dangerous. Still ISIS influence right here. Alex also says, no, it's the one where they launched it at an ISIS tunnel. Trying to recall, I guess I haven't heard of that one specific Moab. I mean, I hear that they have been bombing complexes to the point that even Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, the longtime leader of ISIS, to the point that he was dead, that he got killed in a bombing raid during the Obama years. I'm here because... Okay, I already read that paragraph, never mind. The United States is the most terrorist country of them all, said this Honduran. Well, according to the definition of terrorism, it invades when it wants to and when it's convenient for them. That is why I'm joining the Islamic group, the Holy War, in the name of Allah, of our leader Abu. Well, you know, with the considering the definition of terrorism, now that I think about it, the definition of terrorism, how I am consistently hearing it cited as, is violence in the name of a political ideology. I mean, if you want to go off of that definition, well then one could go so far to say that pretty much every government, military, and nation in the world is, or at least was at some point, a terrorist organization of some kind. That's my messenger going off, by the way. I'm going to plant a bomb like in Boston, in the name of Allah. In the name of Allah, Solana said. That's how it's going to be done. In the second video, Solana reiterated his admiration for ISIS and his desire to attack the United States. I'm here because I'm a sympathizer of the Islamic group ISIS, he said. We must join the ISIS cause, he said. No, thank you. An organization that had facilitated for the killings in Paris and San Bernardino and so forth. No, you can just fuck right off. They are indeed... Okay, this is funny right here. They are indeed murderers, genocidists, invaders of this country who... Oh, okay, no. I thought he was referring to ISIS right there, but the article is specifying that he says of Americans, they are indeed murderers, genocidists, invaders of this country who came to this country to kill all of the Indians. Are you talking about like, wait a minute. If you're talking about like the Native American genocide, dude, I think that every single soldier and leader during the years of the Native American genocide are pretty much dead by now. So what genocidists and murderers could you possibly be referring to right now? Because there is no living murderer of Native Americans to this day. I mean, unless some common criminal like invades a reservation and kills a red man. By red man, I'm meaning like the same way that a person would say black man or white man. Right, Chris Hansen is in the chat, says, I just woke up. Well, good evening. Good evening, Chris Hansen. Ryan House says, K, having connection issues with the stream. Alright, well, watch this in post then if you need to. JJ says, most Native Americans are mixed race now. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people in the United States are mixed race. I mean, they might even have some few traces of Native Americans. So really, white people who are mostly white or mostly red are kind of intertwined with each other at this point. I mean, particularly if you're born in the United States, because a lot of red people would have a little bit of white in them. A lot of white people would have a little bit of red in them. And so on and so forth. So we're all mutts to some little extent. I'm going to get off my soapbox here to continue on with the article. They abolished them, and now they're telling us to get out of here, he said. They are the ones who have to leave. Fuck that. In the name of Allah and our leader Abu, we are going to defeat you. Try your best, bitch. In the third video, Solano issued a similar message. I'm making this video because I am joining the cause of the Islamic group ISIS. It started. Wrecked Chris Hansen says, Native American women are somewhat hot. Somewhat hot? Okay. After receiving the videos, the confidential source met with Solano at a coffee shop in a meeting monitored by the FBI. Solano reiterated his desire to attack the specified mall on Black Friday, says the FBI affidavit. Solano emphasized his attack desires by stating that he wants to set off a bomb and has the balls to do it. I'm gonna castrate off your balls. JJ Skinner says, racist! Wee! The confidential source put Solano in touch with an undercover FBI employee, UCE1. Later in the conversation, Solano offered to take UCE1 to see the specified mall, says the affidavit. UCE1 accepted and the pair traveled together to the specified mall, where Solano walked the UCE through his full attack plan. JJ Skinner says, I doubt he does. Have the balls? Is that what you're talking about, JJ? Ryan says, connection seems okay now. Well, that's good to hear. JJ says, yep. Chris Hansen says, I can't wait for the next Crusades. Christians versus Islam. Oh, God. Don't jinx it, Chris. In late October, as described in the affidavit, the plan was seemingly ready to proceed. Solano met with UCE1 and UCE2 at a hotel on Friday, October 20, 2017, to put the device together, said FBI Special Agent Clancy in the affidavit. Unbeknownst to Solano, the device was inert and could never actually explode. While in the hotel room, Solano practiced arming the device. Solano left the hotel room and entered the vehicle of UCE1, said the affidavit. When they arrived at the mall, Solano took the steps that he believed would arm the device, and the timer began to count down. Solano exited UCE1's vehicle and began to walk towards the previously determined mall entrance. Solano, says the affidavit, was taken into custody prior to entering the specified mall. At the time of his arrest, the specified mall was open for business and populated with shoppers. Under the terms of his guilty plea, according to DOJ, Solano faces a maximum of 20 years in prison. Solano pleaded guilty yesterday to one count of attempting to provide material support to ISIS in violation of Title 18, so on and so forth. Okay, that's unimportant. JJ Skinner says, I'm looking forward to it, too. Just kidding, okay? What was I going to say? Dang it, I forgot what it was I was about to say. Oh yeah, the guy insists that we should all join ISIS. I mean, not that I'm justifying what I'm about to say here, but I can more understand if a terrorist organization was to attack a military complex of some kind. I mean, fuck no, I don't want them to do that. I have military family members, and I care for our troops and whatnot, but I can at least more understand that, because they are the ones working to be fighting for the enemy that you are fighting against. But citizens have absolutely no party in wanting to fight you, to whatever terrorist organization that message could apply to. And he also says, and back on the point that he said about how America is one of the biggest terrorist organizations, supposedly. If you want to go off of the definition of terrorism, that being violence motivated by a political ideology, or violence in the name of a political ideology, well then, like I said, you could basically call any and all countries, militaries, governments, and call all of them terrorist organizations of some type. I mean, it doesn't even matter of how justified their political ideology might be or not. Whether it is that they're looking to protect their own citizens or whatever. JJ Skinner says, that's the pot calling the kettle black. Okay. CNS News. Okay, moving on to the next article. This is 3 out of 5, and this is looking to be longer than I actually thought it would be. We're now about to 30 minutes. I guess it's because I actually have some activity in the chat. Hey, thank you guys for watching so far, sticking around, because the last few strike forces have been kind of dead. JJ Skinner says, him calling the U.S. a terrorist group. This from CNS News. U.S. sanctions Russia for election interference and threats to U.S. infrastructure. The Trump administration on Thursday imposed sanctions on 5 more Russian entities and 19 additional Russian individuals for malicious cyber activity, including interference in U.S. elections and and destructive cyber attacks targeting critical infrastructure. Okay. The Trump administration. So this is sanctions from the Trump administration going against Russia for interference. I mean, if it really was, if the interference that the article was talking about was interference to helping Trump win the election, well then I doubt that the Trump administration specifically would be doing anything about this. So it's probably Democrat interference, or interference into the election helping support Democrats is what they're referring to more. What they're suspecting more. These targeted sanctions are a part of a broader effort to address the ongoing nefarious attacks emanating from Russia, said Treasury Secretary Stephen T. Mnuchin. Mnuchin said that the U.S. Treasury Department intends to impose additional sanctions on Russia's destabilizing activities by blocking the oligarchs' access to the U.S. financial system. According to Treasury, the NotPetya attack, a cyber attack attributed to the Russian military on February 15, 2018, was the most destructive and costly cyber attack in history, resulting in billions of dollars in damage across Europe, Asia, and the United States. The attack significantly disrupted global shipping trade and the production of medicines, and several hospitals in the United States were unable to create electronic records for more than a week. The Trump administration acknowledged its... what the... No! Damn it! Fuck! Guess what? Because of that update, my computer decided to take itself the liberty of restarting by itself. And it's going to take a while for it to restart and initialize the updates and whatnot. JJ Skinner says in the chat, Russians ruin everything. What just happened? Well, I explained what just happened. And Chris Hansen says, rest in peace. Well, anyway. Ryan Howe says that sucks. So yeah, I'm probably going to end this episode of Strike Force right here, and maybe continue on with this one article that I was interrupted. Chris Hansen says, I blame Russia. So anyway, I'll probably continue on, or restart and continue on with that one article in my next episode of Strike Force, and get on to the other 2 articles that I was wanting to read on like Sunday or something. JJ Skinner says, damn you, Russia. So, yeah, it's still in the middle of trying to restart. This might take a while. Chris Hansen says, "Ree! Yeah, you damn right, motherfucker, that I'm reading over this. Reading, oh, God. Yeah, this is definitely going to take a while. Sorry, guys, JJ Skinner mocking me as well, saying, Ree! Anyway, I think I'm going to end this live stream right here. So, for all of you, Ryan Howe, JJ Skinner, Chris Hansen, Adam, JJ Skinner says, bye, Zach. Conundrum says it's your favorite weeboo. The Conundrum saying hi. Ryan Howe says, Russia is buying the PC updates. Have a good night. Conundrum, sorry to disappoint, but we're just ending the stream here, so sorry about that. Anyway, let me try to find out how to end this, stream. Sorry, I'm a bit of a noob going live with my phone. Conundrum says it's cool, bud. Alright, well thanks. Maybe if I click on the red live button. Okay, so anyway, that's all that I have for right now since my computer decided to be a bitch and interrupt us. So, I'm Zach, the Dark Conservatarian, or otherwise known as Dark Con, signing out. That did not end it. This is it. I'll have another Strike Force Sunday afternoon, so hope to see you guys then. Bye-bye. Sure you want to stop streaming? Yes.